Avatar 2 just came out. Took 15 years to come out, and to like get hype for the movie, they collaborated with Mercedes to make this crazy car. Okay, so you gotta check this out.
Oh my
Just look at the look. Okay, like just how aesthetic that is. Look at the rims, the back. So what that is right there is their bionic scales. So it's basically like a turn signal, or it can serve as like a bunch of different things. But when they turn, like all the scales will shift
That's kind of
to side to side, and they're like when it's just like sitting, like the scales will go up and down like they're breathing. It's like people are calling this like a living car because there's a bunch of features in there that like make it seem like it's alive. Okay, so another thing that's cool is those wheels. They can like angle in such a way that they call it crab walking, where it can like start driving sideways.
Oh.
Yo.
So
That's sick.
it's fun. Try to find a video of it. So yeah, like that.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Sick.
So it literally looks like it's just like floating around.
Oh, that's weird.
So that's pretty
Because it looks like the car is like still pointing forward,
right.
but in reality the wheels are still turning.
Um,
The inside looks wild.
yeah, you got to check out the interior. Let's see. It literally looks like a spaceship. Going through an ad right now.
You think we'll ever be driving cars like that? Or is it just too impractical?
I think this might be a glimpse into the future. Yeah, so look at those scales. Look at how it moves. Like it doesn't look, it looks fake. It doesn't look like it should be possible. And then like the guy just chilling in there, it's like a spaceship. Let's find the interior. Oh yeah, this is cool. So the rims, that right there, have you guys seen the first Avatar?
Yeah.
It's based on like the Soul of Life scene with like the
I like hair
floaty
sacks.
things. Yeah. Which is just kind of a cool feature. But let's go to the interior. Yeah, these scales. Bionic flaps.
That is a terrible name.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Does look
watch it
cool.
move.
What do you suppose it cost them to like develop that car?
Hello.
Well, they must have been sponsored to make that, right?
Yeah.
What do you think is the?
Yeah. So they just like shift like that,
Oh, that's cool.
which is pretty cool. But like butterfly doors. Check out
Dude,
this
the
interior.
inside looks so sick.
Yeah, it's literally like a spaceship.
Oh, and it's completely self-driving.
And it's
too.
controlled by that center console right there. So you put your hand on it and it syncs up to your heartbeat. So instead of having like a key to start it, it syncs up to like your biometrics and like
Oh, that's so sick.
scans that it's you. And it like the car will move up and down and like the interior too based on your heartbeat, which is just kind of like, it's kind of unnecessary, but it's pretty
That's
sick
awesome.
too.
Oh yeah.
But anyway.
Is it self-driving?
And there's no steering wheel, so.
So presumably.
Yeah, but check out this the back seat because that's pretty cool. So if you can kind of see it right now, but see that back seat right there?
Yeah.
It's the seat, but it also curves around as the headrest for the front.
That's cool.
Oh, that's
He'll
It's
show
a little
it.
claustrophobic though.
Yeah. But
Like the car is so sick, but it's like
Yeah, like right there,
Who would
see it?
ever want to own that?
just looks pretty trippy.
It's like interesting.
Yeah, so he's like syncing up to it right now.
Oh my gosh, that's sick.
Yeah. Anyway, pretty wild. I just thought that was like kind of a cool way to like build hype, like for a movie. Like probably costs a ton of money, but like.
$40 million.
To develop and produce it. Yeah.
That's like,
But this video, like these YouTube videos are getting like 50 million views. I would say
it
that's.
covers like 10% of the cost.
I would venture to say that that's like they're regaining some of that and profit for the movie.
Well, also, wasn't the first Avatar like one of the highest grossing movies of all time?
Yeah, it is the highest
It is
grossing
the
of all time.
highest.
But I think part of that
It's
is
not scaled for inflation,
no,
right?
it is.
Oh, it is.
Actually, I don't know.
Let's look that up. Highest grossing movies.
you got that because I got something to say. I think part of it is that when it dropped in like 2010 or whatever, the special effects were not as good as they are today. So that was like a huge like revolutionary step for movies. And
But it
everyone,
still
like,
looks like really, really good.
yeah, it does, but it doesn't look as good now.
Right.
So I think part of it was just like, yo, you got to see these visual effects in theater.
Yeah, that was the main draw.
Yeah, it's number
Avatar.
one.
It wasn't like
2009.
the most incredible story ever put to film. It was,
So do you suppose that is because wasn't there some movie that came out in like the 1900s?
there was one.
Like I feel like Titanic scaled to 2020 inflation
No,
would
that's
be more,
definitely
wouldn't it?
scaled. Because it did not make $2.2 billion.
I feel like these would be scaled. They have
Okay,
to
wait.
be.
Go on the Wikipedia
Hold
pages.
up.
I know they have a scaled version.
Dude, I didn't realize that it was 2009 though. Like if you watch other movies from like early 2000s, it just does not look like Avatar at all. Like you can kind of see how that would be like
Yeah.
crazy for that time.
Okay. Highest grossing films. Avatar's on top, and then if you keep scrolling down, it has adjusted for inflation.
Is it a different table?
It's right here. Yeah.
Yeah, Gone with the Wind is adjusted for.
$3.9 billion adjusted for inflation.
Gone with
That's
the Wind.
absurd.
I don't
What?
even.
I
know.
don't even know what that
Maybe
is.
it's a love story based on this picture. I'm gonna go out on a
Released
limb.
in 1939.
Sound of Music. Dr. Zhivago.
This sound.
That's
E.T.
crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Dude, watching movies that old is so weird. Like I remember this movie, The Ten Commandments, was on TV or something, and it's literally like just like watching a play.
Really?
Yeah, it's so weird. It does not feel like a movie at all.
Makes you think that like we look back at those movies as like primitive. Like how are they gonna look at our movies?
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be, like, because how can you make our movies look more real? It's got to be, like, some sort of 3D or 4D experience.
I don't know about looking real, but I think what might be the next step, and you guys might get mad at me for going in this area, but we'll like I'm just gonna say it and then we can move forward. But what if like
AI wrote movies?
okay, let me. We have like
That's an original.
movies and series right now that you make it and then it's mass produced to everyone. They see the same story. What if you could use AI to like personalize it to your taste, right? There's an algorithm that like generates like whatever the best story for you. I think that's the next step.
I just don't see that happening, to be honest.
And why?
I feel like when you see a good movie, like it's good acting, right? I feel like an AI just can't replicate good acting like that well.
Right now.
I see, because the first thing that comes to mind when I think of an AI doing movies was like the Star Wars stuff, like Grand Moff Tarkin and Princess Leia in the new Star Wars movies. Mm-hmm. It's just not great.
No.
It's really just not great.
Okay, yeah, but you're looking at like we're in the elementary stage of like a huge revolution. So, okay, I don't want to get into this. I just wanted to like throw that out there.
Have you seen the deep fakes that people are doing?
No.
Okay, so
Yeah,
like
I've seen 'em.
yeah, they did these. I don't know how they painted on the faces for Grandma Tarkin and Leia, but people are just doing on their own computers. They're using deep fakes. They're like training a computer with all these images of this person, all these videos, and then just putting it on somebody else's face rather than like painting it on frame by frame. And it looks like way better. So it's pretty incredible that they're able to do that. And it's also weird that they didn't just do that for the movies.
All right, crazy segue away from that to government operations that not a lot of people know of. That was pretty smooth. Yeah, okay. So, have you guys heard about Operation Northwoods?
No.
So, set the stage. It's like the Cuba versus U.S., like the Red Scare, all of that sort of stuff. And like everyone's like super anti-communist, whatever. And Castro, rises to power, and there's like this huge concern that like, I mean, you guys know the story that like Russia was like storing nuclear whatever on Cuba, and then it put like the U.S. in a really like risky spot because Cuba's really close to the U.S. Anyway, they knew that Cuba was a threat, and they were uncomfortable with it, and they wanted to put their foot down and stop it. And there was this plan called Operation Northwoods that actually, you wouldn't think it would get as far as it did, but it was like, it rose through the
John F. Kennedy.
bureaucracy.
Bureaucracy.
Oh,
Bureaucracy.
sorry,
Yeah,
I was like
to the
Barack
top.
Obama.
But anyway, it almost happened, and it was because of this guy right here in the corner. All right, this is his plan, chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff. The plan was to stage a terrorist attack from Cuba, or actually a series of terrorist attacks. So hijackings, bombings of U.S. citizens, shooting planes out of the air, in order to change public opinion, to say like, hey, we gotta go stop this, attack Cuba. And it got so far up the ladder, and like it was sent to the Secretary of Defense. Like you had all these officials that signed, and it got to Kennedy, and Kennedy was the one to say, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
But like all these guys before them were on board, like, yeah, let's do this. It's just like they were willing to just bomb like innocent U.S. women, children, you know, in order to
Bomb more people.
and you could say it's for national security, but it's like that weird gray area where it's like, are you like there was rumors that this might have happened with the Lusitania or whatever, and
Yeah.
you know, where there was like
Right.
American citizens on board that vessel that was going across the Britain
That brought the
vessel,
U.S. into World War I.
and then like the Nazis bombed
No.
it, killed
World War II.
Americans,
No. Oh, actually, no. Maybe
or
you're right.
Lusitania or whatever.
It was World War I, right?
Yeah, it was. You're right.
Yeah, World War I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking of something else.
Okay, Joe.
No, because I was thinking. No, it's actually kind of funny. You know, we'd always have those test questions. It was like, what was the spark that started World War One?
The killing of
Archduke
Archduke Franz
And
Ferdinand.
thinking of Lusitania would also always be one of the answers, and
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought of that. I was like, no, it's Franz Ferdinand, but that didn't bring the U.S. into it.
This brings up kind of an interesting question, Roman. Do you think the ends justify the means in terms of like if you're doing something evil for the sake of something good, is that worth it?
I mean, that's like a huge abstract, broad question that like depends on the situation. But I think, yeah, sometimes. So like the question comes like, if they were doing this to ultimately save millions of lives, was that worth it? Also, there's this thing called I don't remember what it's called, but it's like fire something, and it was the strategy that was in World War II.
Firebombing.
Firebombing. Have you heard of
They
this?
just like bomb the cities, everybody.
So there was this, what's his name, dude? He's like some aviator, like general, whatever, who led like the U.S. Like aviation, whatever, operation. And his whole philosophy was, like, you go to Japan and you just like hit them as hard as possible, like just brutal. Just like they would target the areas in Japan that were composed mostly of wood and flammable material, so that it would burn and keep burning, and like trap people in the buildings, just to get as many civilians killed as possible. And his thought was like, if you do that, then instead of drawing out the war, like doing like these mini operations, drawing out the war, if you just like huge foot down, then ultimately in the long course of things, it's actually going to save more lives. So it's like this weird like when we think about it, instinctually we're like, no, that's wrong. But if you kind of like think through, like, okay, in the end, that actually might be good, but like it feels
Well,
like deeply wrong.
Especially in that situation, I think that's just a complete misunderstanding of the enemy they were fighting, right? Because Japan was so firm on the no surrender, we fight till we die, basically, right? And so when you firebomb Japan, they're just getting more angry, and they're gonna keep attacking. Like, we dropped a whole nuclear bomb, and they kept fighting us. We had to drop 2 before they surrendered. And it's like, if you truly understand your enemy, that's like the Ender's Game thing, right? If you truly understand your enemy, like, you're gonna understand them well enough to defeat them. And clearly we didn't, and that ended up causing us to drop 2 nuclear bombs and firebomb cities, killing millions and millions of people, all for like.
Right. Well, if you do it, it's based on a huge premise. It's like, this has to pan out in the end and actually save lives. It can't be based on like, oh, I think that this is gonna happen, therefore we have to do this. You have to be like absolutely sure of it. The thing with like the bombings in World War II, like Hiroshima and whatever, you guys know about this? Like, if that didn't happen, I believe, yeah, the U.S. was like planning this huge invasion of Japan, which was gonna be like the largest invasion,
Like a land invasion, right?
like, yeah, in the world, and I think like of all time, just like massive projected casualties. So that might have actually, I don't know if it was or was not, we could maybe talk about that, but if like with that in the foreground, you can kind of see how Truman would be like, okay, this might be better.
Right.
But I don't know, morality's tough.
Yeah. Well, what makes it so difficult is you really have no idea what's going to happen after. Like, you could justify it to yourself and say this will save more lives at the end of the day, but like, you really don't know until you see the end result. So it's hard to make that decision.
Yeah, you're dealing with complex factors that are like so hard to predict. So I don't even know. I think like this is like the hardest position to be in, because it's like either way you lose. Either way the public is like, you lost lives.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, let's bring up another operation that was in the name of public security, or national security rather.
Operation Mincemeat.
COINTELPRO. Have you guys heard about this? Mm-mm. So this is again in the, it was by the CIA this time, but this was again in like the, kind of like the Red Scare, communist era. You also had like Martin Luther King Jr., you had feminists, you had anti-Vietnam War.
So it's like the 60s, right?
This is the 60s, yeah, and then even into the 70s too, and maybe into the 80s, but you had all these different factions that were causing like a ton of like chaos and havoc and like kind of wrecking like the order of things. So the CIA and I think the FBI rather, they like had this plan, and they actually went through with it a couple of times, where they would infiltrate these groups and try to plant evidence, try to tamper with witnesses, stage a bunch of things. They tried, they tried a bunch of different tactics, like, I think in here it says like psychological, like, warfare. Just a bunch of like stuff that you wouldn't think the government, psychological warfare right here. Just a bunch of like kind of dirty stuff to discredit these groups. And they said it was in the name of like national security, but it's like they were attacking like Martin Luther King Jr. Like it says in here that they were looking for evidence in areas of King's life they deemed worthy. So they were scanning his life for anything that they could basically like conduct a trial on. So they were trying to dismantle him and like put him behind bars, because what they thought he was doing was disrupting the social order. So it's like, dude, is that really for national security, or is that is that you being scared of like these guys coming for your power? It gets into a gray area.
Well, to be honest, I think that's just a black area. Like you're doing an immoral thing, which is like investigate or trying to get dirt on MLK,
Yeah, obviously.
all
that's
for
wrong.
the reason
Of
of
giving
maintaining your
yourself-
own
yeah.
power. Like that's you
Yeah.
know, the
Obviously
ends and
that
the
is
means are
not.
both.
Yeah, I'm not endorsing that. But there are also times when they do this in like foreign governments where they try and like the CIA is like notorious for that, for getting involved in like supposedly dirty ways in order to gain influence, or that's ultimately in the US's benefit. So obviously it could go too far.
Is
but
it
also,
different when you do it in another country versus in your own?
No, but public perception tends to we don't really pay attention to what happens in other countries as much as we do in our own. Case in point, unless you have any thoughts on this. Does have any thoughts?
I feel like there's just way more stuff similar to this going on with the public having no idea. Because like both these last two operations that you've shown us, the public probably had no idea that stuff was going on at the time. And now, like, how does that stuff get revealed years later?
Yeah.
Because like, does somebody from inside just go out and publish it? Because like, there could be a ton of operations just like that going on right now. that we just have no
There
idea.
absolutely is.
Yeah, I know. Especially, what comes to mind first is like the Twitter stuff and like election stuff.
Yeah.
Like you really have no idea what's going on, and we may never find out. But like, people could end up going out and publishing stuff like that, and people will be outraged.
Yeah, there has to be like a whistleblower, like there was for like the Cambridge Analytica scandal, or like the guys like published their own records. Like the CIA published like I think we talked about like the LSD.
With the elephant?
No, like the experimentation that they were doing in the '60s with like in the brothels and like at Harvard, where they were like dosing people with LSD to see if they could do like psychological manipulation. We talked about that, didn't we?
I vaguely remember that, but
No?
not exactly.
We touched on it.
You guys want to talk about it now, or should we?
Either way, I'm okay.
I think we already talked about it, but yeah, like sometimes these guys who are doing illegal activities will just like flex it at the end of their life. Like we talked about Edward Bernays. You guys remember that?
Is that the ad guy? Advertising?
Yeah, the guy
Oh,
who
yeah.
he was the nephew of Freud, and like Freud was like his mentor, and he combined like this expert like business experience with like the tools of psychology, and like meshed them into like this super weapon that like attacked the public. And he was in charge of like eggs and bacon for breakfast. That's a core staple of like American culture.
Mm.
This guy was in charge of bringing eggs and bacon to the breakfast table.
Did the agriculture people pay him to do that, or like why? What was the motivation?
I don't
for it?
remember the whole story, but he was in charge of that. He was also in charge of, he was like the tobacco industry weapon. So like
Oh yeah. I remember
there was
that
like the
now.
feminist
Torches
movement at
of
the
Freedom.
time. Torches of Freedom.
Yeah.
He staged, dude. He was notorious for staging these events for the corporations. So he would like pay people to like riot and like give them like cigarettes, and he had like dozens of these riots to like build public opinion. And like, dude, he's just like, he played the public opinion like a fiddle, dude. Like he was out here just like strumming. He was a master. But anyway,
Puppet master.
he at the end of his life, when he was like he lived to like 112, whatever, something like that. He like published everything he did, just to like basically flex. He was like not a good guy.
You
He's,
guys
like,
had no idea I was doing this
Yeah.
type of thing.
He was super egotistical. He just basically wanted to say like, hey, that's what I did.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that's the only way that it like gets out. But you were talking about like foreign relations and how we don't usually deem that as like
The same.
the same as like what happens in America.
If we're manipulating foreign citizens is not the same as if the government is manipulating
Yeah.
domestic citizens.
Yeah.
And like how in general our government would tend to value U.S. citizens over foreign citizens.
Mm-hmm. Case in point, Project Nimbus. This is ongoing. Started in 2020. What it is it's essentially a partnership with like U.S. tech companies like Google and Amazon. And what they're doing is they're enabling the Israeli government they're giving them like cloud computing ability to essentially, I mean, obviously, like this is another case where it's like national security. We're doing this for national security. Everything we do is for our citizens. But what this is being used for, allegedly, is spying on citizens, like facial recognition, storing data on their citizens, and it's kind of turning into like a dystopia in Israel because of these services that these companies like Google and Amazon are providing. So it's like a 1.2 billion contract, huge contract, huge project that Google and Amazon are working on, but it's largely like kept in the dark. Like people don't really know that it's going on, and it makes you look at like Amazon and Google a little differently. Like I don't know if this is 100% bad or like what
Yeah,
the Israeli government is using it for, but
It
like,
almost seems necessary because every country that surrounds Israel wants to kill Israel,
yeah,
right? Like, if there's that saying, if the surrounding countries around Israel put down their guns, there would be peace. If Israel put down their guns, there would be no more Israel,
yeah,
right? Like, they have such a need for protection, and maybe this is overreach. And obviously it shows that like it's possible for the government to track people and do all these things that you wouldn't want happening to you.
So did the Israeli government reach out to Google and Amazon and say, hey, can you make this for us?
I'm guessing so.
And they're just like, okay, like it's a lot of money, we'll do it. And the people,
it seems a little oversimplified.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I bet
No,
that's
but,
the gist.
are the people protesting it? Is it so? It's like I was reading the thing on the whenever you searched it, and it was people are Are they protesting because they feel it's a breach of freedom of the people in Israel?
I think so.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out.
Just because like this says it like allows for further surveillance and like unlawful data collection. So there's always two sides to the story. So I'm sure if you ask like the Israeli government, they would say like this is for like defense. Like we're trying to like historically and like modern day, like Israel has always been a place of like lots of violence, and we're just trying to like secure it and do what we can to bring down the chaos. Like documents, I think, allegedly again, like I don't know for sure, are coming out that like they're using this in ways that are kind of like, well, are you really doing it to protect yourself, or are you using it to go on the offensive against Palestinians? So who knows? It's just another thing where it's kind of like, all right, like Amazon and Google, that's kind of like what are you really doing? Like, can you kind of be like forthcoming with what abilities you're supplying these governments with? But
Because as soon as it's
crazy.
in Israel, like it could easily come to the U.S. as well, or anywhere else.
Well, they're showing they have the ability to make something
right,
like that.
exactly.
yeah, it's just like, I don't know, do it like as technology progresses, it's just like Moore's law, like the exponential increase. It's just like, I think we're gonna get to a point where like technology's changing so fast. It's like historically, like from like the 50s to 60s to 70s, it's easier to adjust with the technology. Like oh, like the Nazis are developing an atomic bomb, we better rush. Actually, we did it first, but it's like vice versa. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Sure.
like we have years to like kind of adjust, whereas now it's gonna be like, I think the changes are gonna happen so fast. It's like all of a sudden we're in a whole new ball game. But
So
yeah.
it's almost like you have to be on the offensive, because if you're trying to be defensive, then you're playing catch up.
And that could be the argument for Project Nimbus, is like the Israeli government is like, I mean, we don't want to do this, but we're forced to, because if we don't, we're going to fall behind. So, anyway. Operation Fishbowl. You guys know about this? It's kind of funny. Like, it was this project in the 60s when we were like developing like nuclear tests, whatever. And we were like first discovering our nuclear capabilities. And what they did was they essentially just like took these nuclear weapons that they hadn't tested before and just like launched them into the atmosphere. like there was very little like, what are the consequences of this? Like, could we like
Injure people.
or like destroy the atmosphere and just like cause the end of the world? They literally just like sent it into the
See what
atmosphere.
happens.
Yeah, and like see what happens. And it's just like, obviously it panned out okay for us now, but like imagine if like first time they sent like a nuclear bomb having no idea what would happen, and just like hole in the atmosphere and like the whole world
The
just
whole
ended.
ozone layer
Like,
just like opens
no
up.
one really talks about like how just like, oh, we'll see what happens. Like just trial and
It
error.
just sounds
this
like they
was.
got bored at work one day. and
Literally.
just like, let's
Like-
see what would happen.
This is this is the stuff that's concerning, because like the more and more technology accelerates, like this kind of attitude where it's just like, oh, we'll see what happens. We'll send it up in the air and just
Yeah. The
Whatever.
moral and ethical considerations have to come before the.
yeah. Like we don't want our
Not
government officials to just be like, I mean, I guess we could just like send it into the atmosphere and just like blow it up. Like, I don't know. It's just kind of scary.
That's like something that scares me is the there's easily enough nuclear weapons in the world that we could just wipe out the world tomorrow if we wanted.
Yeah.
Like that's so scary to me. And like who controls them? It's just governments. It's like who's going to stop them from like doing something stupid?
Yeah, they always say like blow us, like we're gonna blow them back to the Stone Age. It's like that literally could happen.
Oh
where,
yeah.
Where we could like, it's happened time and time before, like with the Romans, where they had such technology and then they like their empire basically self-imploded, and then like for like years after that,
They were rebuilding.
they were rebuilding and they were like way back in terms of like technological
I feel like
ability.
2,000 years we didn't even know how to make concrete.
Dude,
but then they
imagine
made the
that.
whole Colosseum out of concrete.
Imagine you're a hunter-gatherer. You've lived in like huts all your life. You're hunting. You have like one of those little paper things covering your balls. 'Cause you don't even have clothes, all right? And you have like a stick in your hand, and you're like running through the woods with like your brother or whatever, and you stumble upon this like huge like remnants of like a coliseum or like a aqueduct, and you're just like, what is that? Like we can't even fathom that, because we always think about
Yeah.
civilization like a linear way. Like
Yeah.
we start as hunter-gatherers, farming, buildings, whatever. But like imagine you're like, yeah, like we're the shit, and then you come and like see the civilization. It's like, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, we talked
about
about
that.
uncontacted tribes video. Imagine that uncontacted tribes just like find out about the spaceships that we launch like every other week. They're
Yeah.
like, what the hell?
Or like this magic box that I could use to talk to someone across the earth.
Yeah.
Like that would shatter their mind. But anyway, have you guys seen like these?
No, this should be interesting to watch.
I'm trying to find a certain one that's like what I'm looking for, but this is scary too, because this is like going on 60 years ago, and you got to believe that the stuff that we have now is like just thousands of times greater.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude.
What?
Ivy Mike.
Is that?
Dude,
Are
I'm looking for the specific one. I bet you guys have seen it, but it's just like it's like in the water, and it produces like this. I don't even know how to describe it. Like this, basically like this tube up to heaven. It literally looks like a structure.
Is that it?
No, that's not it.
Tsar Bomba.
I'll find it,
That's
but
It's a
the
big
Hiroshima one.
No, Tsar Bomba is not the Hiroshima one. That's Little Boy. Tsar Bomba is the Russian one. It's like 100 times stronger, I think.
Dude, look up nuclear. Okay.
I mean that's pretty wild. But that's not what I'm saying.
Oh my gosh.
Look at that relative to a ship.
Oh
That's
my
a big
gosh.
Like what?
That is insane. The amount of energy.
Yeah, to move that much water.
That's,
Like, that's heavy as.
That's like one atom being split.
Yeah.
No. Is
Is
it
it?
really?
I think so.
Oh, dude. Speaking of, did you guys hear about the physics breakthrough?
Wait, is it a fusion
No.
something?
Yeah.
I think I saw that.
Dude, that's-
let's actually look into that. I haven't like heard about that.
After I found this clip.
Okay.
Did they figure out how to
Bro.
do
They
Oh my
they
God.
figured out some different way to do fusion that might make it viable, right, or something.
Does it not use tritium?
Yeah, and it's like they think it might be the thing that saves us from like climate change, which might be a bold statement, but it's like that huge
Well,
of a breakthrough.
If you can figure out how to make fusion work effectively, that would like by far be the most.
It's basically like infinite free energy,
Well, I mean,
right?
yeah.
Like,
If you can figure out how to optimize.
Bro,
Wait, okay, I was not
insanity.
paying attention. Play that
that's
again.
like the tube.
Yeah,
That's
go
okay.
back,
This
go
isn't
back.
the clip I'm saying, or I was talking about, but this is like one where you can kind of see the tube to heaven. That I'm talking about. It literally looks like a round structure that just goes into the sky.
Oh my god,
Look at those mini. Yeah, right there, that tube.
that is wild.
The one that I was talking about, that tube structure just like holds still for like a whole minute
Oh my gosh.
in the sky. But yeah, it's just crazy. That was in 46, dude.
Yeah.
So
Like imagine, think about where technology was then,
yeah.
and think about what kind of bomb we can make now.
Okay, look up
Like
the
a
fusion.
breakthrough or something.
National Geographic.
Okay.
It just happened like a couple days ago too.
Yeah.
So it's a U.S. lab. It released
Okay.
more energy that went into it.
Oh yeah, because
So-
that was the main issue with fusion for a long time. Is
Yeah,
that
well, you could achieve the.
they could get fusion. Oh, shoot. They could get fusion reactions to work.
Dude, come on.
But it always expelled.
less energy than it took to heat the molecules up enough.
Yeah.
Near limitless energy.
Yeah, it wasn't viable for energy production because it took more energy to make the reaction work than was produced.
Okay, let's see what this. Positive energy. Researchers managed to release 2.5 megajoules of energy after using just 2.1 to heat the fuel with lasers.
Okay, so like there was a gain. That's basically what they're talking about here. But I want to see like what they think the implications are.
The positive energy gain report ignores the 500 millijoules of energy that was put into the lasers themselves.
Say that again?
It says,
Oh, so it's actually not that much.
yeah, they didn't actually produce any energy because it took 500 millijoules of energy and they produced
Megajoules?
0.4. But still, it's still a breakthrough.
Wait,
I think
so
it's like it might just be like proof of concept. Where it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's not here yet, but it's like this is a
This proves
step
that it's able to be
towards
done.
Just duping energy.
historic explosion.
Yeah, they could just put it in their chest and like.
Energy is so, or like, fusion is so weird to me. Like, the fact that they can get that much energy out of that tiny amount of matter, it's just insane.
This is over my head.
So how does it actually work? Because I know for these, they like heat up the molecules super hot with lasers, and then what does it just get hot enough at that?
Well, no, they're moving so fast that they're like in a collider, right? And then they smash together, and when they smash together, they're able to fuse. And when they fuse, what would that be? Losing your game, whatever. The electrons move around, and then energy is released with certain.
Is that how it works for fusion though? I don't think that
so,
is.
right?
Look up how do we do fusion reactions or something like that. Because I know in the sun it's like because the gravity is so great or something that it's able to they merge.
Right, but they have to be going fast enough that when they collide, that's why it has to be so hot. That's why they take 500 millijoules of energy to heat up it up with lasers.
I know it has to be hot, but I didn't know they smash them into each other. I thought that was just for fission. Nuclear fission.
Oh.
All right, dude. I want to talk about something. You guys remember 2016?
No.
The clown sightings?
Oh yeah. I was scared to take out my trash.
Like that phase that happened that like took over the world that everyone just like forgot about, where they were literally people dressing in clown uniforms, like just
Just
like
like
literally
I
killing
honestly
people?
did not realize that was an actual thing.
you didn't.
Like, I didn't.
Like you thought it was just like a middle school trend?
Yeah.
Did you hear about it?
I didn't. I knew the whole clowns thing, but I just did
Yeah.
not find that scary. I did not think it was.
We were in like 6th grade.
Because I didn't think it was real.
Yeah.
I didn't think people were actually doing that.
No, it was like a nationwide phenomenon that like happened all over the world, and it just like there was a period of time where it was like it caught on in like Kentucky, I think, were like the first clown sightings. I could be wrong, but then it just like it was happening everywhere, and like it's just like what was that? Like why was that such a big thing?
It's crazy what the internet will do.
Yeah.
Like, also last year there was what was it called? The devious lick trend where people were just stealing stuff from schools.
Yeah.
Like, you
Like
can't do
soap
that,
dispensers.
But
like TikTok just made it so
devious lick.
that millions and millions of dollars worth of stuff was just being stolen from schools.
Yeah, dude.
Like, what?
They like shut down like the boys' bathroom for like some time because like there were no soap dispensers because everyone just like put it in their backpack and left.
Yeah, what?
That's so stupid.
That's so weird.
But this clown thing, like people were actually dying, right?
I think like there
How?
were a couple murders.
Like,
Dude, the
shit,
videos.
like-
If you go back and watch the
pull up
videos,
some
like
of
it's
that.
like,
Like
We'll
where like
pull
the
up some
clowns
videos.
killing people.
Yeah.
bro, that like, okay, are you guys scared of clowns?
Not,
I think they're creepy.
Like
yeah,
there's
but I
like
guess
if
I'm
you're,
allowed to.
it's yeah. If you're just like driving down and out, like obviously some of them were probably staged, but imagine you're just driving down like a gravel road, and then you just see like a clown on the side.
No, just standing in the middle of the road looking at you.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
like.
that's so creepy.
But here's the thing, like there was some desire beforehand for like that met a need, right? The clown sighting phenomenon. Like there were definitely people who wanted to, like who goes and dresses up as a clown to like scare people? Like what is that? Like what?
I feel like that's a personal, like a need to feel important type of thing. And like causing fear would give a crazy person joy. I see they're all 6 years ago. Top 15 scariest clown sightings videos.
Number 10. Fortnite.
Fortnite.
yeah, Joe, I think you were hitting on something real. Like it's the need to be important,
Oh yeah.
and they're not finding any way in society where they're like they don't feel like their job's important. They don't feel
Yeah.
loved by their family. That maybe don't feel, I don't know, any way that they're contributing. And so
Sorry, go ahead.
they have this need to feel important, and this is one way they're able to do it is by scaring people.
Yeah, people are looking for attention, I think. Dude, but I just realized that I think this is when It came out, right?
Yeah.
Is it?
So that
I
might
think
have
it be
been,
around that time. You should look that up.
because that It was huge.
It was.
That was such a great
When
movie.
did it come out?
Okay, no,
Okay, maybe not.
no, that was
It
the old
too,
one.
wasn't it? It too.
No, it was because they redid the series.
2017 maybe.
When did the second It come out?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
2017.
that was slightly before it.
But Yeah.
So was it like one of those, what is that guy, Edward Bernays things where he's like hyping up the movie by
Oh, maybe, dude. That could be. Dude, that actually might be like.
Dude, there's
something.
no
You might be
way,
onto
but like
something.
that completely makes sense.
Yeah, but also like it just
Like, it
almost
sounds
seems completely
unlikely.
impossible.
Dude,
like,
that's
imagine-
terrifying.
Imagine you're the producer for that movie. You're like, we need this movie to go off.
I definitely think that happens though. Absolutely. If you're a billionaire with ungodly amounts of money, you absolutely have some sort of influence over public opinion. And you guys heard about the conspiracies with what's his name? Oh, dude, like the billionaire who
Bill Gates.
no,
Elon Musk,
what's his name, bro?
Warren Buffett.
They think that he's like behind a lot of like the
George Soros.
Yeah, George Soros, dude. They think he's behind a lot of like the like super on the left progressive, like the BLM movements, and like he's funding like these progressive politicians and like slowly pushing it to which I think he's Jewish, so that might be like kind of like anti-Semite, like there might be some like anti-Semitism behind it, or like you never know with conspiracies, but like there's a bunch of things that are kind of fishy where it's like he's traced back to like having links to some of these BLM movement events.
Well, he also publicly supports a lot of that, doesn't he? I don't really know
Maybe,
a lot about
but-
it,
Wait, who is,
I definitely
I
heard
have
the
no
name
idea who
before
this
in
guy
relation
is.
to all that stuff.
Was his name George Soros?
Yeah, I don't know what he even got rich on, but he's a very,
Hungarian
very
businessman and philanthropist.
How did he make his money? He had like a hedge fund.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go to the conspiracies.
False claims. Let's see
Okay,
what this
so that's
says.
according to Reuters.
Reuters.
Is this legit? Reuters? Are they
I
credible?
think
I
it's
have
usually
no
pretty
idea,
credible.
but I mean, let's just see what they have to say.
But you really never know with the fact checks.
Being a former Nazi. Okay, owning Antifa, Black Lives Matter, paying for protesters. So he's a billionaire, philanthropist. Okay, so his foundation that he donates to said it was false. So, I mean, obviously they would say that. But let's go to
How do we know George Soros isn't behind this article? Like,
exactly. So his spokesperson for the foundation said, "We don't promote." Okay, I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
so like, how do you really know?
well, I mean, I'm not saying this happened at all, but like, say you were that rich, you could easily just pay to have all these articles written.
oh for sure.
That's what Bill Gates did.
Oh
He-
yeah, you're talking about that.
He lobbied like a lot of the biggest news organizations to push their opinions of him in a more positive light.
I think
So you
that
can trace like, allegedly, you could trace like the negative, kind of like negative opinion, or like the tone of the articles that they're writing about him, and then all of a sudden like spikes. And it's just like,
I think that's probably a big part of the reason why Jeff Bezos owns Washington Post, right? Like he
Yeah.
doesn't need to own a newspaper,
But
but
sure doesn't care.
yeah. But what would be the impetus for owning one as a billionaire? Like maybe money, but is Wapo really making money? I don't know.
show me the video. Trying to see some clowns.
Oh, that's scary. It's literally a dude dressing.
If you're just, yeah, that's so freaky. Now we got a cannabis.
I hate
ad.
these videos because they just talk about the videos
And then they
rather
don't
than
even show
actually showing them.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see a compilation. But it's just weird that something like this can spread so fast and then all of a sudden just like disappear. Like
Yeah.
there are like these phenomenons that like you were talking about, like the devious lick, and then also like the water bottle flipping, like all these like dance phenomenons, like like do the whip. Stuff like that. Like the Running Man
See,
challenge.
this just looks so fake, though.
So, yeah, you never really know, but
Like,
okay, like broad day, like it's got to be at night. I'm sorry. All these are during the day. It's not even. I don't know.
That's the thing. Also, is these videos are just so easy to fake.
Yeah. Yeah, you never really know, but it's just like the fact that it happened is just. I don't know.
Creepy clowns are summer 2016's most unnerving occurrence. They even got NBC on board. It's wild.
Did you guys hear about the? Actually, I don't know enough about that. I'm not gonna bring that up. I don't. What you guys have anything?
It's kind of your job, Roman.
Okay, that's fine. Let's talk about You guys know who Padma McCord is?
No.
Another kind of conspiracy thing,
Okay.
but it's actually legit. Like, there's conspiracies as to why she does it, but the fact that like what she does is like she actually does this. But what she does is she buys all these URLs and she basically like optimized her. You guys know what SEO is? Like search engine optimization.
Okay.
It's like you put in keywords that basically increase your chances that it'll
Be
go
higher up.
Yeah. She bought all these like weird websites that they're like shell websites. So like here's an example of one. It's just like really weird. It's like an HTML and it's just covered in like her name and then like keywords, and there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of them, and they're like really weird, like just random images, and it's links to like all her other ones. And you could go down the rabbit hole and just see how many she has, and it's like not even when you click Padma Accord it comes up, it's also when you put in like other searches like
real estate for
Yeah,
just
that's
like
what I
real
was
estate,
saying.
whatever. Yeah, so
Because whenever you clicked on that one, real estate investor, and then there's all those images of like perfect green grass.
yeah,
So is that like trying to make it so if you look up house with nice yard or something that comes up, or something like that?
something like that. But again, like a bunch of keywords, owner, company, Padma McCord, president, and every time she puts her image in there, it's like doctored. It
Yeah,
looks like
that's-
super freaky, like just like
That's weird.
uncomfortably weird. And there's just tons of like websites with like just connected back to her. So it's like, why would you?
What's the motive?
Yeah, what's the motive? Like, what's the point behind this? I'm trying to come up with some other.
I'm so curious as to why she does this.
Yeah, here's another one. So just like a bunch of keywords. This time it's a like different website. It's a blog. These are photos I like of real estate new homes. just a bunch of images too. So they all kind
nature.
of follow the same structure where it's just like a dump of photos and then more websites of
Of her.
hers. Let's go to another one. Oh, this is a YouTube video. Shoot. This is
Let's
her
see what the
YouTube
video
video
is. It says, yeah, it's on her channel.
for SEO purposes only. So maybe she's like
Maybe she's just trying to like research it, like what goes into this.
maybe she's like in business and she's like optimizing, seeing how she could optimize her SEO and just like doing a bunch of iterations. But like, it's like there's a bunch of conspiracies as to what she's doing and like why she doctors her face. And it's just really weird. So maybe we could find some.
I mean, what do most of those theories revolve around? Like, just trying to win publicity or something?
The best conspiracy source is obviously Reddit.
Right.
So
Yeah.
let's consult Reddit. Yeah, just like unsettling Photoshop pictures. Okay, what's the actual conspiracy? No, not TikTok.
Not TikTok. Anything but.
I just want to see an article.
She's just doctored her search engine so much that you can't even find one.
What about socialgrip.com?
Oh yeah, but that's
This looks legit. Come on, we're just trying to find some
Can you do this on your
conspiracies.
computer next time, Roman? Gonna get him a virus.
Dude, this is off the dome. So I just have to try and find some. But all these are so not legit.
You should just click on every link.
Dude, these are so sketch.
Yeah,
Don't go to
F-
Yo, should I click on it?
FL0
Get away.
Dude, they
.schoolwires.net
just keep getting more and more sketches.
ejournal.universitas-bth.ac.id.
Spelled wrong.
Oh my
Exactly.
1,000 reasons to never.
Okay, let's just look at some images that she posted.
And let's download them.
Uh,
Oh my god. Why is there only this many images?
I don't know. Usually they're.
Go to the YouTube video.
Last time I searched,
5 unexplained mysteries.
where?
That one, yeah.
Should we watch it?
I mean, what do they even say?
Yeah, what's the scoop?
See, let's check out the description.
That will scare the life out of you.
Oh, it's gonna be.
It's just
nutty.
one of these stupid top 5 videos. It's not
Go
gonna
to
give us.
Padma G. McCord.
Oh, maybe that's why they're not coming up, is because there's a G. I forgot to.
I doubt it. He gave us 2 ads.
Unbelievable. Yeah, where's your sound, Caleb?
I guarantee you this video is just gonna be like.
It has the scary music in the background.
This is literally like watchmojo.com.
He's talking.
Shut up, bro.
quiet.
Shut up. Talk so slow. Yeah, just a bunch of keywords and like random photos.
That's so weird.
That's so.
And like she's like a bunch of these YouTube channels and websites.
Okay, this person said they had professional sounding addresses.
What I just don't get is like, she says for search engine optimization, but like, what are you optimizing? when people look up your name, they're gonna find your real estate business. Yeah, but they're not gonna know anything about it.
Well, maybe she's like working for a company where, cause like SEO is like a huge. It's like
Kind of a mystery.
it's like
that
a
everybody
part of
wants
like
to figure out.
Facebook marketing, like website design. It's like an element of that SEO. It's like a part of just like internet business stuff. But like that would be fine and all. But then you add in the fact that she like doctors her face. Like why? There's no
that
need
seems
for
to be
her
so pointless.
to do that. It's just odd.
Maybe she's just embarrassed by her looks.
Bro, you honestly think that looks better? Like,
Well, maybe she's really, really ugly.
yeah.
That is just not real.
How much time do we have?
I mean, we're pretty much.
All right, here's a weird thing that I've been thinking about. It's this concept called "my red is not your red." Basically, like,
Oh yeah.
have you heard about this? Like, when I look at that blanket right there, I see what we call yellow, but the actual visual look of that is like subject to me, right? Same thing with like the brown there and like the red there. Like when I see it, I see a type of red or yellow, but like that's because it's coming through like my eyes. Like how do I know? Like we've agreed that that's yellow, yellow, like the word yellow, but as far as like the actual look of it,
Oh yeah, it could be complete opposite.
like you could look at that and have a completely different experience of what yellow
Dude,
or
like
brown
it could be
is.
like people with blue eyes see everything like that's blue differently as people with brown eyes, but they'll never be able to like communicate it to each other.
like people with color blindness, like they can still agree like that is a color, but they don't necessarily. Actually, no, that's not a good.
Well, it comes up every time I tell somebody I'm colorblind. They're like, "Wait, so like maybe this looks red to me, but it doesn't look red to you." And it's kind of like, I don't know. It's a weird theory. I think it's probably wrong because like we all have cones in our eyes, and they receive the same information.
Yeah.
And the likelihood that they interpret it differently for every person, I don't know. It seems like, because all our other senses are interpreted in almost exactly the same way.
How do you
So,
know?
like,
Well, the mechanism is the same, but the end product, how do you know? Like some people, they love the taste of like, what is
Cilantro.
it? Cilantro, but other people it tastes like what is it? Like
It tastes
soap?
like soap to them.
Soap, yeah. So that's a case where the mechanism is the exact same, but the end product is just like.
But do you know that the
wildly
mechanism's like the exact same? Because it could be like a difference in like
different. We're just saying
taste
broadly.
bud receptor. Like I guess in some cases. I
Like,
guess you don't know case to case, but
Well, that's his argument. Is like the process is the same, so why would the end product be different? I'm just saying like, even if the end like the process is the same, like we know that subjective experience is different. So like, you know, like there's phenomena out there, and then it comes in, and then we experience it. How do we like our experiences vary? So it's just like weird to see like. Looking at that green ladder, like, obviously, like, out there, whatever's out there is the same. We agree that that's the same thing. But when it comes in my head, like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, I know
it's
what
kind
you're
of
saying.
hard to
It's
articulate, but
exactly.
it's like, once you think about it, it's trippy. Because it's like, I don't even know. It's weird.
I don't know. It's possible. It seems unlikely to me.
What do you mean it's possible? Like, it's just like,
It does. Well, it does seem unlikely, but I don't know. It's hard to articulate at the end of the day. Like you're at the end of the day, you're never going to be able to prove it one way or another.
Yeah.
yep.
Well,
should we
Yeah,
end it there?
we'll wrap it up there.
All right, that's the pod.
Don't forget to say your prayers and may God bless you.